Coach Flash, we want to welcome you to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Um, we'll go ahead and let you start off. Share a little bit about yourself, uh, where you are, what you're doing, all those good things.
So I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I played football, basketball, ran track at Memphis Merrows. I had a track scholarship at St. John University, Tennessee State University. But I think when in school, especially coming out when I was coming out, I think that taking a track scholarship, it wasn't the cool thing. So I chose the route of playing football.
So, what are you doing now? What are you doing with yourself?
Right now, professionally, I own a facility. I train athletes full time all day. I started off with, I guess, regular people. You could say weight loss, weight gain, different things of that manner. And I've realized that with a regular client, sometimes they'll come in and they don't want to do the things you want to say. Yeah, they want to lose weight, but they may be like, "Well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to lift this. I don't want to run this." Well, the athlete, they want to be great. They have goals, expectations they're trying to meet. It may be, hey, to start. It may be to run a certain time. It may be to get a scholarship. But they all have various goals that they're trying to meet. I think the thing with athletes is they don't have to be told or forced to do things. They self-motivated to hit their goals.
Yeah, I like that because we both in the same arena in that regard of like doing the chiropractic stuff. I work with a lot of athletes, and athletes are they'll be quick to tell you they as soon as you can get me back, that's what I'm trying to be back.
Yeah. And I guess for me, I've been blessed. Um, I guess I could say I got the who's of athletes in the city. I got a national champion 2 years in a row. I got an All American. I have the number two basketball player in the state. I think she's probably number five in the country now. She currently holds 67 Division One offers. I'm well rounded. I got IU's ex starting quarterback, which is a starting receiver now. I got another receiver at IU. I got players at Eastern Illinois. I got players at Michigan. I got players at Ohio State. I'm pretty much well rounded.
That's awesome. So you got to make sure that you sharing their names so that people will know who they are. And so you talked about when you were getting recruited and getting ready to go to college, you were like track wasn't the
It
end
wasn't
thing.
it wasn't
And
the
so
cool thing at
it
that
wasn't
time.
the right. And
Yeah.
so how have you, I mean, even though you have athletes that you work with in the sport who are like, yeah, this is what I want to do. How have you motivated them to, well, this is where you were. Why don't you try this? Or even athletes who originally came to you in one sport and maybe you saw something in them relative to you could actually be a great track and field athlete.
A good question. So, for me, I grew up in sort of a single parent household. I'm from Orange Mound, which Orange Mound is the first Black community in the nation. Um, I guess as well as other Black communities, there's only a couple ways to get out. You either go dribble, throw,
Mm-hmm.
or sell drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Selling drugs, it usually leads you to jail or still in the neighborhood. So for
Right.
me, I have athletes that's dealing with hardship. They may be lights being turned off. It may be six, seven brothers in the household, which they had to come to a realization that sports can be your way out.
Right.
Yes, you might not like the situation that you in, but hey, this football could take you around the world. This track could take you around the world. This basketball could take you around the world. And now these days, it's not all about going pro. It's about going pro in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because now schools are offering out NIL deals, the
Mm-hmm.
scholarship, even the stipends and everything have increased. So right now, it's about going pro in life and building
Right.
better human beings.
I think that's a great model to have, especially even for student athletes wanting to pursue college and you really emphasizing the importance of how this is transferable to your life and how you engage and interact with people. So how do you help student athletes with that? This is your way out, right? Um, but for those that may not, they don't really like studying. And how do you help kind of
So I have a
motivate
nonprofit.
them?
I have a nonprofit as well. It's called Action Sports Indy, and I also have a track team, the Indy Racing Tigers. So with my track team and a nonprofit, we offer tutoring. We offer speech therapy. We offer social media training, which tell you what to post, how to post, when to post to get recruited. It teaches you how to conduct interviews, even when being recruited. Hey, it's okay for a college coach to tell you, hey, we have a 5,000 square foot, whatever. but you also need to be interviewing that coach as well, because that's where they're going to spend the next 3 to 4 years of your life. Even when it comes to, after you might have a good game, even when it comes to, like, let's say television interviewing. So we offer different programs within my one program.
Okay. So you just, it's like we're gonna sharpen you up all the way around.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like it's the complete athlete.
Yeah.
I love that. I
How
love
to be a
that.
brand.
I
Because
love
right
that.
now, I think the thing is all about NILs. It don't matter what sport you is, there's NILs and there's money out there to be got. That's name, image, and likeness. So how can you build a brand right now in the sport or age group that you're in? It could be from 8-year-old to 50-year-old. How can you build that brand right now and make it marketable that somebody want to say, hey, wear my clothing, hey, sell my product? So we try to build around that to make sure that, hey, you can be recruited, but I can't have you with no 1.7 GPA.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that
You're
don't
not
look
going
good.
nowhere. Yeah. So I do want to highlight one thing you talked about is the same way that when colleges are looking at you, you need to interview the coaches. So what are some of the things that you would suggest to either parents or the student athlete when trying to look for a school specifically for track and field? Like, what are some things that you should ask the coaches or research yourself, right? Because just as much as they want you, you want to be able to ensure that it's a place, like you said, that you'll be a good fit and be
And
successful.
I hate to say this. You put me in a hard spot. I hate to say this. And I hate to say this because I ain't gonna say because I hate to say this. At some colleges, some HBCUs, some NIAs, some Division 2, 3 colleges there, the training room or the training facility, it sometimes it may not be up to par. And dealing with sports, hey, recovery is a big thing now. They have cryotherapy, Normatec, cold plunge, different things like that. So for me, my student athletes, how's recovery room, how's the strength conditioning coach, because I don't want my athletes going and doing 1,000 cleans because they already know that, hey, doing these cleans is good, but it may be not beneficial for my joints, my wrists, different things like that. What can I do outside of these cleans for me to hit my goals? So how is the strength conditioning coach? How does the gym look? How is the staff, the doctors, the physical therapists, different things like that? How is the dorm size? Are there pests in the dorms?
Well, yeah, that's more of like the whole school evaluation.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like I can't. And the question becomes, can you live? Can you live in this?
yeah.
Can you deal with this? For however many years you're gonna have to deal with it, the 3, the 4, the 5, whatever it may be. Because I know
Yeah,
even
and
for me, it
especially in
was.
this time, a lot of coaches, and I hate to say this aware because I may be some recruiters that's listening. They'll tell you some things to get you in, and once you get there, you just one of the numbers. Like, hey, I got Jermaine Ware. He runs a 10-9 in 100. Well, hey, I just recruited Flash out of Tennessee. He runs a 10-9 2 in 100. Now, you got both of us here. If one of y'all do the wrong thing, one of y'all going home. This is only a 1-year commitment, and there's standards that go with this scholarship. So if you don't hit these standards, if you come in overweight or you not perform up to par, I can't send you home.
Oh yeah, and that's what we talked about that with some other kids of how this now is a business. Like
Yes,
when you in high school, you're beginning the business because when it comes to your junior senior year, when you getting recruited, that's what it's about. In the bigger schools, yeah, it's all about what can you do for me right
yes.
now, and how much trouble are you not gonna cause me? Like if you could come in smooth, you know, we'd be good to go. But like you said, even when I got recruited, they recruited me as
It's a
a
business.
running back. They
Yeah,
brought five of us along. It was
it's a business, and I don't want to bash your school, but
Absolutely not.
I got
Yeah.
an athlete at your school, and I'm gonna piggyback on the business side. So he just got a sum of money,
Mhm.
and I think that athletes need to take this into mind as well. He just got a sum of money, and when you get a sum of money or NIL, you go from being a student athlete to an employee. So now, if you don't hit those standards that you're supposed to hit, I don't talk to you as a student athlete. I now talk to you as an employee. And
Right.
I got one athlete that went through hardship, and they just now getting the money from the NIL. And given the fact that they did come from hardship, I guess they spend the money a little bit out of hand. And the coach get in front of them, in front of the whole team, and let them know that, hey, you're no longer a student athlete. You're an employee of the school. So I'm gonna need you to do this, 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 this. Or, hey, we're gonna take this money back and we sending you elsewhere.
That's
Wow.
real. I didn't know it was that raw these days.
Right. Well,
That's your school.
I guess that's an important.
Hey,
That's an important piece.
she was just up the road at Purdue.
Yeah, don't try to throw me in.
Hey,
there.
no. Purdue is worse. Oh,
Oh,
Purdue is worse.
no.
Yes.
Oh.
Purdue is a little worse. I got a story about Purdue too.
Oh wow. Well, I'll say this, like picking up on what your athletes that you work with are experiencing in college is really important now too, especially for student athletes who come from humble beginnings, right? A lot of times, like they could be giving back to their families, right? Even if you're first or second gen removed. So an important component to realize that athletes need is that financial planning and that financial education, because
So with my program, I think you've been looking at it. With my program, we offer financial literacy as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we hitting on all the things that you're covering to equip and prepare the athletes, which again is important, especially now that athletes can get NIL deals. And it's like, how do you navigate that? And so with those student athletes reaching out to you and how to, like, you know, performance, how has that now, those experience translated to the track athletes you work with now who are looking at colleges, or like what additional things are you saying to be mindful?
So right now, I guess it translated in, I had everything lined up for my program, and given the fact that I have had athletes, or currently have athletes going through the situations with the NILs and the large sums of money, now I realized that, hey, I got to get athletes prepared earlier to get in this situation. So I was pushing and I was dragging my feet, I guess, about the program, but now we're in full swing of things. Everything is lined up for my financial literacy, the tutoring, everything to prepare them for the next level.
Okay.
Right.
We need to get that health component in there. I got you covered.
Yeah.
I got you covered on it. Whenever you're ready.
I don't know if there's any kind of way, I think parents look at this, maybe we looking at this as well, where they get insurance on their body parts early as college athletes.
Right.
So that way, if you do get hurt, you're still getting something. If you did have potential to go pro, or where you were, hey, lined up to go pro or advance at any level, there's something lined up where you can still cash in on with the level you was at.
Oh yeah.
Because I had an athlete that got hurt at Purdue, and they told the athlete to basically medically retire and work in the weight room.
They didn't want to give him a red shirt.
They told him he needs a medical retire.
Wow. And so that, I mean, and that goes back to athletes knowing whether or not what coaches are telling them is the truth or not, right?
And it come down to the business side that, hey, we got X amount of dollars we can spend. We got X amount of scholarships. Hey, you've been hurt, I don't know how many times this year. You may be good, you may have potential at first, but hey, we're gonna move on and go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's really a cutthroat game now. I mean, because with the transfer portal, everybody can go and come as they please. So you have that, and it's like, well, and it goes back to something else we always stress with a lot of these, you know, athletes we talk to, is the academic component. Because if you got the academics solid, you can move about the country, right? With no problem. But if your academics are a struggle, then you stuck, and
you got to stay there and try to stick it out.
You know, at that point, it's you hoping somebody choose you. But if the academics are together, then you're all good to go.
And I think a lot of things have been taken away, because I know for sure when we was coming out, when we was still I guess going through high school, they had Proposition 48. I don't know if you really remember what Proposition 48 was, where you can have like a 2.0 GPA in high school and a 17 on the ACT. I forgot what the SAT score was, and you can sit out the first semester, but the second semester you be cleared to play as long as you get everything up. They don't have that no more.
No. You got to come in ready to go. But I think even with that, I think that has driven some of the stuff where we see these, like a lot of the club programs taking over. And so
Yeah.
you have kids that play some sports all year round from a very young age, and then they'll get to they I see it happen all the time. They hit that driver's license, and all of a sudden they burnt out. No,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just I got a new freedom is what's really
Right,
happening.
right.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
didn't know how to handle that before because it was, well, mom was always driving me to practice. Now I can drive wherever I want to go. So I'm burnt out from that because I
Right,
don't want to do that no more. Which is
right.
one of the reasons I push for early diversity in the sporting arena, with a lot of the younger kids, so they're not stuck in one and they can kind of figure it out. Now I probably overdid it with my child. So for the record, I probably
I'm
She's
probably,
overdid
very
it.
probably
well,
going down.
she's
Well,
very well
I'm probably
rounded.
going down your road.
I think that's important with brain development too.
Hmm.
Neurologically, you're looking at all these different motions that you have to go through, learning different strategies, competing on different levels, winning and losing in different sports. I think all that's important from a scientific and neurological perspective with child development. I
Hmm.
know we got our thing that we do, and it's good to have that thing, but I think initially, I think that just helps build motor skills all the way around, which is why I say, I probably
So, Coach,
over.
what's your philosophy with your student athletes? It's clear you work with a lot of great athletes, but you know, what about your program and philosophy makes you Coach Flash?
With track, I think my big thing is development, development, development. Um, as me examining the landscape of track and field, I guess in the city, I realized that there's a lot of coaches that is winning or pushing athletes off raw talent. The development or the IQ of the athlete haven't raised. I believe that as a kid, whatever age you started, it may be 5 or it may be 10. Your IQ should increase every year as you go through track and field. You should understand that here. So for me, it's about raising the level of IQ and the development of athletes.
I think that's great. You're meeting the athletes where they are too, right? And really coaching them. It's like you
Yeah,
said, you have some coaches now where it's like, okay, this person is
yeah,
just
yeah. If you're fast and you come out the
talented.
blocks a certain
Yeah,
way, I'm gonna
right.
let you keep winning and still be
Right.
fast.
Versus helping them develop. And I think that's
But I
really
believe that catches up eventually.
right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I think that speaks volumes to really meet the student athletes where they are. Yeah.
Different way. So
Yeah.
now, as a coach, you got to go out there and seek that extra knowledge on your own if you want to be successful. Especially if you want to push forward, leave middle school and go to high school, or leave high school and be a college coach. You gotta have that knowledge. There's a
Mhm.
lot of them just, hey, I'm just take these $2,300, and these athletes already fast, so hey, I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and that's where I was getting at because I'm like, what do people who are just doing that, like I'm taking my
Right.
2,300.
So how do you help? Like, what would you suggest to coaches who do that, and you still have people who may be opportunists, right? Where it's just like,
We
oh,
are
this is this
we're in the
great
social
athlete.
media whatever this is with social media. There's so much stuff out there to grabs or get on the internet or YouTube. There wasn't a YouTube around. And when I was in school, I remember the first Mac came out and the internet had really just came out.
Mhm.
There's so many ways to grab knowledge now. At first it was just a book, but now I can go on the internet, I can surf the web, and I can actually see the videos of it doing it.
And that's the thing that I admire about a lot of track coaches is that because we just love the sport, we really get down for the sport, and everybody's okay conversating with everybody else about what's going on, and it's for the betterment of the
Yeah,
sport. Now I'm
yeah.
gonna ask you, what is it in particular that you just love about the sport, the track and field?
Right now is I'm very competitive. Um, right now is seeing the growth and how far I can or the athlete can push the limits. Hey,
Um,
can they get a 10-5 or can a 10-3 come out of it? Can you get to a 9-7? How far can they push the limits?
can you share a specific, like, maybe reflecting on this past season with your athletes, like an athlete that did the unexpected, like exceeded expectations that you set forth? Yeah.
Dangerfield and Cameron Berry were healthier athletes at first when they came to me. I think Xavier was a middle schooler. He was maybe close to 190 pounds. He was a lineman. I don't know if you know what linemen do. There's the people in front that block for the quarterback. He went from being a lineman to he is a starting running back at Cathedral now, and he just broke all these freshman records as a sprinter.
That's awesome.
Cameron Berry was also on the healthier side, and he won the 100, the 200 last year at Junior Olympics, and he got second in the 400. And these was chunkier athletes. On the opposite side, I had.
So with the successes you've had, even in this year, how do you plan to build upon that as you prepare? You're already preparing. You already are working with athletes for this year's.
Our open workouts with the Indy Racing Tigers. Right now, we're having open workouts to try to build the IQ of the athlete before we go into the season. So that's pretty much what we got going on now. There's no like full speed running. There's no pyramids. There's no build-ups. It's all about building the IQ, understanding the hips. I can also say this. My philosophy is I train racehorses, not a workhorse.
Well, with your programs, you got a bunch of stuff going on. How do you like involve your parents in terms of what is their role with all of this?
A lot of parents are bought in. I think right now, based on the success I've had previously with different athletes, it depends on what the parent job title is. Like I may have a parent that's a financial planner, so I approach their parents and say, hey, I'm really much expecting all hands on deck. If you would like to volunteer to teach a class, or hey, to sit in through one of the seminars, or even host, pretty much up to it. So a lot of times, I may have like a chiropractor. Hey, sit in. We're gonna teach about nutrition in the body. It depends on what their parent does on their day-to-day life.
That's smart. So you take their expertise and use it to benefit all the athletes. I think that's really great. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm deeply involved.
Yeah. So because you're super involved in the recruitment, which is a great thing, I know the parents appreciate that and the athletes. So if you could share with college coaches recruiting or wanting to recruit some track and field athletes that you work with in the state, who should they be on the lookout for this year?
Who should be Xavier Dangerfield, Jakaya at Cathedral as well, and they should always be on the lookout for Cameron Berry. I think they is already.
Now, what year is Cameron?
Cameron is going to the 8th grade. He's in the 8th grade right now. That's all I'm gonna say. The recruiting process starts very early.
Yes.
So recruiting starts very early.
Addicts now?
Yeah, she's at Addicts. She was at Mount Verde for a couple months, got hurt, came home. Her dad is a coach at Addicts as well. And I'm also on that staff now as well at Addicts. Yeah. I trained 7 of their 12. We finna win the city and the state. Okay. So I said that on this podcast first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let it be known. If parents or athletes would like to follow you, what platform should they follow you on? Can you share your
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook? I am Flash Woods on all those platforms. Also, the Indy Racing Tigers on all those platforms. Okay. I also want to piggyback on the name. So I don't know what you probably do know. Harry Edwards. He was the head coach of the Cheetahs.
Yes.
He's probably the biggest mentor I got right now in my life. That's and awesome. Everybody say is a stamp from Harry is like a stamp from any college coach as well. Yeah. So in honor of that, the name of my team apparently is the Indy Racing Tigers or the Indy Racing Cheetahs. For me, that's my way of putting on a Harry Edwards jersey in respect of and in honor of him.
Right. Well, shout out to Harry. Yeah. It's always good to see him at meets and stuff. So I look forward to that again.
Well, Flash, we appreciate you being on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. We look forward to having you back.